we may finally be seeing some matchmaking improvements in Deadlock here pretty soon. Today I want to talk about why, what I think is coming, and what we've already seen from developers so far. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and I want to do a little bit of speculating here, but also go through some evidence that we've seen across the interwebs. I wanted this video to be pretty short because there is a little bit of speculation happening here, and we haven't seen anything officially come across the change just yet, at least announced from developers. But I do think they're already doing some work on the back end, and honestly, there may be some changes that have already been deployed for matchmaking. The first thing I want to go over is a screenshot of a Discord post I saw from Obikim. Obikim is a really high-level Deadlock player. He's competed in a lot of Deadlock Night Shift and previous Deadlock Fight Night, and he actually got an error when he was trying to queue that I've never seen before, and I don't know if anyone else had seen this. I presume this is something new, though, that is coming with some of the matchmaking changes that developers are working on. It says, error, your party contains too many very high MMR players to be able to matchmake. We are temporarily not allowing this to avoid unbalanced teams among high skill players. So, we've talked about this on the channel a little bit extensively. One of the biggest problems with matchmaking is either the presence of smurfs in lower, obviously, lower elo lobbies and people just kind of rolling over players in that way. But also, you'll have this situation where a very high elo player will maybe duo queue or trio queue with some, less skilled players, and then get into lobbies and then have the same kind of problem. It's basically like a smurf at that point, right? And so it looks like this is maybe dev's first attempt at addressing this, which would be very interesting. This also correlates with something I saw as well. I'll post an image of this as well. But Deadlock Project 8, an account we've covered previously here, posted an image that showed that Yoshi was reading the bad matchmaking thread. Now, the lead developer reading a thread on the forums to me doesn't really constitute a video or discussion. But in conjunction with some other things, it is a little bit interesting that, one, the community has been very adamantly talking about how bad matchmaking feels. I've personally felt this in my own games. And also this post by Obikim, that it looks like some changes are coming to the way that we get into games, the way that we queue. So I feel like there's plenty of reason to expect that, at the very least, it's one of two things happening. Either number one, devs have already started making some matchmaking changes. Maybe these are happening on the test server where most players really can't see. Or number two, that changes are going to be coming in a patch coming out pretty soon. And this could be, something that we've speculated about in the past, which is a Halloween event coming in late October. That could very easily be when we see some kind of matchmaking update. These are just two pieces of my own speculation. This could also be something we don't get until later in the year, or also something that devs don't really talk about. This is one of those kind of background changes that we could see just kind of with these subtle deployments, like we saw with this potential change that Obikim was mentioning, and we don't see like a major update for matchmaking in game state, right? But in reality, I'm not sure, just speculating, but I wanted to kind of present those things and talk about how that could be a possibility for matchmaking changes in Deadlock. So what could a matchmaking change look like, and honestly, what's next for Deadlock? Well, in terms of what's next, we've covered a lot of leaks in the channel. Ones that talked about a new Boho and Venator hero, as well as a new Vanguard map objective and a Halloween event, all coming towards the end of the month. I think those are still very much in play and could come in conjunction with some matchmaking changes, honestly. But again, those are leaks that we covered. Speculation at least has to be maintained a little bit when we're talking about those things. Nothing is confirmed, even if it does seem maybe pretty convincing that we will get those things. But with matchmaking, I think there's a lot of different avenues that this could go down. I talked about this in a recent video talking about the problems in Deadlock. I think that a multitude of queues may be in the pipeline just inevitably. I think having one queue is great for fast game, acquisition and low queue times. But at the end of the day, you have so many players coming into this game who are learning or just want to play casually, and bot matches just are not going to be enough for those players. There needs to be some kind of like new player or casual queue, something to protect the new player experience, because I think that has been extremely volatile. I've heard a lot of new players coming in having a great time, maybe playing like 10 bot games and then getting lucky with some of their matchmaking games that they've gotten into. I've also heard the opposite though. So I know that players are struggling. I have had some heavy woes with matchmaking myself. I do think it's gotten better, especially in a solo queue environment. But I think that is certainly something they'll have to look at. The Smurf problem is something they'll have to look at. The thing that Obikim posted about, kind of the what do you do when you have a wide skill gap on the same team? Will there be restrictions about rank pairing, queuing up with your friends of different ranks? It seems like there's already kind of a soft restriction, according to Obikim, but we don't know. So at the end of the day, I think there are a lot of changes that could come with matchmaking. There's honestly too many to speculate all the different directions that Valve could take this one. But at the end of the day, I really think that something will be coming probably in the next 2 weeks before the end of the month. There's always a chance that that's not the case, though. Like I said, we're approaching Q4. This is usually a time when a lot of games make some kind of change, some kind of update comes through, maybe a new roadmap for the year, right? There's all kinds of things that developers could do here. I would expect something, though, like I said, in the next 2 to 3 weeks coming in Deadlock, whether it's matchmaking, new heroes, an event, a new Vanguard objective, right? There's a lot of reasons to be stoked for Deadlock right now. I personally think the new balance change is really good. I think it's brought a lot of new heroes kind of into the fold as far as the meta goes. And I think a lot of the items and honestly the hero roster in general feels pretty well balanced outside of maybe a few outliers, but that's always going to be the case, right? So I'll continue to update you all on any changes I see coming across the pipeline, any leaks that I see. It's been pretty dry as far as leaks go, but I wanted to at least mention this because matchmaking has been such a vocal point of mine and of the communities, and any update we get in regards to matchmaking feels like it's worth covering. But as always, thank you all so much for tuning in here on Dead Unlocked. Thank you all. I appreciate the memberships that we're getting and the subscribers. Always very, very grateful for you all. And yeah, see you all next time. And from our house to yours, we'll see you then here at Dead Unlocked.